Oh, really? Okay, here we go.
Welcome back to WGL's debate with the candidates running for Pennsylvania's 11th congressional district.
All right, we're down to the final two questions, and you will both get equal time to answer. Here is the first. In this campaign, Congressman Smucker, what is the biggest misconception about you?
Well, I think I'll talk about the differences in our philosophy in regards to this campaign. I've now been serving in elected office of some sort for the past 10 years, and I've run in several different campaigns. But I got to tell you, never before has there been such a difference in philosophy of the two candidates than what we've seen here. Ms. King has affiliated herself with a group called Justice Democrats that essentially was formed out of the Bernie Sanders campaign because they wanted to move the Democrat Party further left. They believed that both parties were too conservative. So when Ms. King talks about being with neither party, she wants you to think she's in the middle, but she's essentially associated herself with a socialist group that is promoting a radical agenda. These are the folks that have talked about legalizing drugs. It's on their website. These are the folks who have called ICE a terrorist group and who believe that we should continue to federally fund sanctuary cities. So there's a very different view of what direction we should be taking the country in this campaign and in the next few years. We have a great record. We have created more opportunity for people all across the country with a booming economy, and that's why I believe that we are on the right track, but we have to guard against these socialist ideas that are creeping into our political debate.
Okay, Ms. King, I feel like you're getting double time because he talked about you, and now
Exactly.
you get to talk about a misconception about yourself.
So the question was a misconception about myself, and he just told it. And so I'm happy to not repeat it because there's a lot that's just not true about it. And I just want to reflect on who I am and why I stepped into this race that I think is clarifying. You know, I grew up in this community, I grew up in a small business. I've spent my entire career supporting economic development through business. I have an MBA. Put that together with some of the things that he's talking about. I always look for business-driven solutions to our challenges. I ran an organization that was all about how we address things like poverty and inequality in Lancaster City and in this region through business. So the arguments that he's making just don't land. And part of what I bring to this really is a commitment to this community to do things in innovative ways. I've worked in public service for my entire career, using business tools to try to make our community stronger. And I think that's a real opportunity that we have in this moment to use the power of the federal government to work better for people, to look at what the opportunities are for people, for small businesses, for employees, for people who haven't seen a wage increase in 40 years, basically since trickle-down economics started in this country in the 1980s. It never trickles down, it stays at the top. And so folks are struggling to keep up with the higher costs of housing and healthcare and higher education and childcare. Those are things that I want to help look for solutions for from a business-driven, market-driven approach and how we can support the growth of business in our economy by smart, good government.
Thank you.
This is our final question before the closing statements, and it starts with Ms. King. There is a level of divisiveness throughout the entire political process today. What will you do to reach across the aisle and work with people on the other side you may disagree with to find common ground to better the lives of all Americans?
It's a great question, and I'm really proud of the campaign that we've run that has really eschewed party politics, because I do believe that both parties have failed. I believe that both parties have sold out to special interests and aren't reflecting the interests of average Americans anymore, that there's too much influence in just being party line over what it means to be an American. So I have been so proud of what we've been able to do of knocking on the doors of Republicans, knocking on the doors of independents, and asking their concerns. What has been so humbling and informative to me as we've had more than 50 town hall meetings where people of all political divides have come to talk and ask questions, that we have more in common than we don't. as the electorate, as the community. The things that I have heard at the top of the list from regardless of party position, healthcare has been number one. We need better solutions to healthcare. And that's why it's been so important for me to be an advocate for a system that we see working around the world, but not working here at home, that we're simply giving a pass again to the special interests rather than finding a solution that's really gonna work. The other things that I've heard are about showing up and being accountable, and people have appreciated that I've knocked on their door and talked to them. And to talk about how we get money out of politics, to look at both. I think it gets easier then. If you're not working for special interests and you're working for your constituents, it's a lot easier to come up with bipartisan solutions. Do you know too that the average member of Congress today spends 30 hours a week fundraising? This is the other huge issue with campaign finance. We've got to get money out of politics so that legislators are working, having lunch together, working across the aisle so that we can get some things done.
Thank you. Congressman, what do you do to reach across the aisle and better the lives of all Americans?
So I have a great record of reaching across the aisle. The freshman class, there were 50 of us. We talked to one another during orientation and talked about how we should operate, how Congress should operate. We believe that Congress should be a deliberative body. We are sent there to solve problems for the people that we represent, to help to make their lives better. And so we said we're going to argue about policy, but we should treat one another with civility, with respect, understanding folks come from a different viewpoint, come from a different district. I've tried to conduct myself that way. In fact, I'm a part of a group called the Problem Solvers, which is equal Democrat and Republican. Now, I'm a conservative, representing a conservative district, but I think the best way to advance what you believe in is to talk to one another and find solutions. We've done exactly that. We've held those discussions in the Problem Solvers group about some of the tough issues that we've talked about today, about immigration, for instance, about healthcare, about infrastructure. And we've simply sat and said, what is it that you could agree to? What is important to you? How can we find these solutions? It's the way that we should continue to operate. You know, we know the country is perhaps more polarized than ever before. We may not be able to change that, but we can certainly set an example in Congress, and that's what we're attempting to do.
All right, thank you.
Well, we want to give the candidates a final chance to make a pitch for your vote, so we're going to give you each 1 minute for a closing statement, and again, we begin with Congressman Smucker.
Well, thank you, Mike and Janelle, for hosting this. I appreciate WGAL and the Economic Alliance hosting this evening. It's been wonderful to have this discussion. It's been a privilege of me to represent this district in Congress for the past 2 years. We have really had one principle, one idea that we've worked to advance. That is, we believe in you, the people that we represent. You heard from Jess earlier this evening. She believes the answer is more government, more programs. We don't think so. We've advanced ideas that I knew would work. The idea that if we create a tax code that works, we provide for regulatory relief, we will see an economy that is working for people all across this nation. And that's exactly what's happened. The lowest unemployment rate in 50 years, highest consumer confidence in 40 years. People today are better off than they were just 2 years ago. So I thank you for the opportunity to serve you. And with that record, we think we have a great record. I'm looking to continue to advance those principles, and I ask for your hope to have the opportunity to serve for another 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Quickly.
Got to get right in.
Clock is ticking.
Thank you so much for having us. It's a privilege to be here. And I think, you know, we have a real choice in this moment. If you're watching this, you're also seeing the TV ads that are on this station. There's so many that are not true. And I think we have a real choice between a politics of fear and division that's just stoking fear to keep us divided and to keep propping up the status quo. What we're trying to do is something different. We built the largest grassroots campaign to try to talk about how we build an America that works for all of us, not to pass tax code that mostly benefits the very wealthy at the expense of working families who haven't seen a raise in a generation and aren't keeping up with the higher costs of housing and childcare and healthcare. We can find policies that work for all of us, but it's going to take all of us getting involved. I asked for your vote. I asked for your engagement in this civic moment because America only works when we work with it. Thank you.
Thank you both. Well, thank you to our candidates. We really appreciate you making the time to be here tonight. Thank you to our viewers for joining us and our audience tonight. Thank you to our partners at the York County Economic Alliance and the Eastern York School District for hosting us.
Remember, Election Day is literally 1 week from today, Tuesday, November 6th. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your civil discourse. Good night, everybody.